Hi, welcome to Growth Inspires. In our episode today, we have with us Mr. Rajiv Gupta, who is a very inspirational person and has a very fantastic journey so far. And we are going to learn about his story in Growth Inspires today. Hello, Mr. Gupta. Welcome to Growth Inspires.
Hi, how are you, Pankaj? This
I'm
is
doing
really
good.
nice of you. This is kind of you that given me an opportunity to interact with you and through you to other young leaders. Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Gupta. So, we have this Growth Inspires, primarily in terms of how we can inspire the younger generation to learn from the experiences what we have or the leaders have, and they can probably get some bit out of it. So I'll start with my curiosities. We have two three curiosities which will come up, uh,
Sure.
but the first is around your childhood. How has been your childhood? Can you tell me a little more about your childhood?
I have born and brought up in a city called Jalandhar in Punjab. So my childhood has been a normal, so to say, middle class childhood. I belong to a business family. My grandfather was Kirana shop in Gurmandi, Jalandhar. So, though my father is a government teacher, he is retired now. So, in childhood, I have the family values and driven, inspired by the parents, all those things which we all get in a family. But few of the incidents which I can recall is, which left an everlasting impression, or later on when I became professional in business, I could correlate to those things which I learned in childhood. I recall visiting my uh, grandfather's shop, seeing him interacting with the customers, and how he will take care of this. One incident I remember is I was sitting with him. We were to go home together
Mm-hmm.
in the evening after the shop. So a customer came, and he customer was generally asking about the smaller quantities, which normally it was a wholesale shop, were not given and not entertained.
Mm-hmm.
But my grandfather very willingly greeted him, gave everything, and when he left, I asked him that Bauji, why such a small quantity, and you were treating him such nicely. So he
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, this is a month end. He may have his own issues and own financial challenges, but
Mm-hmm.
he is a regular customer. Today he is buying small, tomorrow he may buy big, and we should treat all our customers happily. They are the one who are paying us.
Mm-hmm.
I think this learning of importance of customer in business, and then how should we treat them, left an mark on me. Though that day I could not understand, and I was just taking it as a good behavior on part of my grandfather, not as a businessman. But
Mm-hmm.
later on, I realized the importance of customer. Now, all management things we talk about customer. I think I could relink this. So that is one incident which I recall even today from my childhood.
Wonderful. So this was an incident which actually had a indelible mark on your memory, and
Definitely.
which I think which you must have followed throughout your life till today. But can you also talk around, this is one part of the memory. Can you also talk around your schooling, how was it, and what kind of friends did you had, what kind of preferences did you had, did you know you were you a more studious kind of a student, or you were more of a playful kind of a student?
I was one who will focus more on academics,
Mm-hmm.
was good in schooling, though it was not only studies that I was focusing on. I was interested in socializing, interacting, and knowing people. No,
Mm-hmm.
I was one who will go along well with
Mm-hmm.
the elder ones also. I'll
Mm-hmm.
spend time with the people who were elder to me, even the senior citizens. I was going along very well, chatting, understanding, learning from their experiencing, meeting people. These were the few things which I always enjoyed. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, playing and roaming around with friends was one of the evening ritual that every
Mm-hmm.
childhood of those ages had. Now, this
Mm-hmm.
also reminds me one incident which, I was coming back with my Dadaji from shop.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, One day, he was delaying it beyond normal.
Mm-hmm.
We normally will, when it was around dark, turning dark, close the shop and then come back. One
Mm-hmm.
day he was, little trouble, taking a lot of time to wind up.
Mm-hmm.
And I silently watched when we started back. Asked him कि दादाजी क्या हुआ था?
Mm-hmm.
So he said कि हिसाब नहीं मिल रहा था.
Mm-hmm.
So I could not get. Then I realized that he was telling cash on daily basis.
Okay.
He said कि गल्ला daily मिलना चाहिए. If there is even 1 rupee difference, that has to be resolved that evening itself before going home. So that
Mm-hmm.
is why additional 45 minutes to 1 hour he spent in
Mm-hmm.
reconciling his inwards and outwards and telling it before leaving. This learning actually gave me a lot of value, that
Mm-hmm.
you must focus on cash flow. You must focus on reconciling daily cash balances and keep a record of that. While I enjoyed my childhood, but these learnings of business which came from being, in business family helped
Mm-hmm.
me a lot later on.
That's in fact a great learning for all of us, because I think today we as a youngster, we generally do not count the kind of money we are actually spending. So I think that that's going to have a great significance in this particular episode. We talked about your childhood memories, and you talked about two different stories, or a kind of something which happened, which actually put a importance in your mind. But can you also talk about the kind of struggles do you have in your career, primarily at the initial stage of your career? What was it like? What kind of struggles did you had at that point of time?
Struggle was more of learning. The world is open. You come from schooling, colleging, and when you come to the business world, it is a different. What you have learned in books is applicable to a limit. It is more of practical things which you learn and the environment in which you operate. The biggest challenge was accepting that environment mentally, getting yourself accustomed to that, being part of that team, and then start performing. So this was a challenge initially. Then later on, as I moved on, I changed many roles. I saw many departments. So learning and contributing at the earliest was a challenge throughout this life. Struggle is a part of everybody. I am not an exception. I do not take credit that I have traveled a different journey. I would agree that almost everybody would have traveled the same journey.
Mhm,
Everybody has his or her own share of struggles, challenges. It
mhm,
may be in terms of profile, it may be in terms of boss, it may be in terms of the environment, but the challenges are there and you need to handle this. I
mhm,
was fortunate to get opportunity to work in various functions of the business and various functions.
mhm,
So I started with costing and MIS, moved on to internal audit, moved on to all monitoring things at decision making level.
mhm,
Then I got opportunity to work in marketing. So
mhm,
this was different.
mhm,
Having on the other side of the table where I
mhm,
was questioning marketing. Now it was a time to deliver.
mhm,
So that was very interesting and challenging both.
mhm,
Then I moved to operations role, which was
mhm,
entirely different. Now, when I was in marketing, I was considering that marketing is the leader and marketing drives the business.
mhm,
And operation people are just converting. When
mhm,
I became operation head, it was the other way. I thought probably marketing, is equally important. But many of my colleagues in operation would think that marketing is just enjoying AC and traveling in business class.
mhm,
So, these were the two different things which I experienced being on different roles. And
mhm,
then I got opportunity to head overall business.
mhm,
So, but that also from one business to other.
mhm,
And God has been kind. At the same time, challenge is always there. And one thing is that I have started enjoying challenges. The last couple of years, I
mhm.
love the challenges, and they really put me on and motivate me.
You have wore different hats in the textile industry, across various companies wherever you have worked. What does that mean as an individual? Because we have seen many people working in one function throughout their life, vis-a-vis working into different functions, into different companies of the same industry, maybe having some different fabrics altogether. What does that bring a change in the personality of yours? Probably navigating all these companies in these many years.
One is having empathy about the other. Once I was in marketing, I moved on to operations, moved on to other functions at business head where purchase, HR, accounts, everybody will work as my team. So one is
Mm-hmm.
I could have an empathy. Second is
Mm-hmm.
understanding the importance of each function.
Mm-hmm.
In business, it is not only producing or it is not only selling.
Mm-hmm.
Each and every function is equally important, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very important learning which I had. Even one smallest part of the business,
Mm-hmm.
if is not taken care of,
Mm-hmm.
you may not go to the level of excellence.
Mm-hmm.
If you say that we have improved this business, we have turned around this business, how
Mm-hmm.
do you do it? There is
Mm-hmm.
no rocket science. There is no one mantra. If there is
Mm-hmm.
only one thing wrong, everybody will know it and correct it.
Mm-hmm.
There are many small things which we need to do together.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds of small things have to be done together.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest thing that I always have emphasized is keep a motivated and highly energized team, which
Mm-hmm.
will drive for you. Take care of your people; they'll take care of business.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be very strongly coordinating with them, understanding their problem. So this is one thing which because of my changing various businesses, various functions, gave me a strength, and I could drive it. So that's my take on this.
You have been a very, very ambitious child, and ambitions is what which has driven you so far. In our last interaction, we talked about. Uh, what does that mean to you, and where is that you are looking ahead? I'm sure with good amount of work which you have done in the past. What's the road ahead?
For understanding the road ahead, let me look back. When I was in college, being a child of a government teacher, ambitions were one way, the current reality was one way. When I
Mm-hmm.
was in the third year of my graduation,
Mm-hmm.
I appeared in one test for banks, which was called Upper Divisional Clerk,
Mm-hmm.
UDC test.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I cleared that.
Mm-hmm.
For the family and for myself at that level, this was one thing which will give you assured life and settlement, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
But being ambitious, as you rightly pointed out, probably you have your own research. So I decided not to do it and
Mm-hmm.
decided to go for managerial, aspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, my family supported there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one choice which I made, and then later on it, lived right.
Mm-hmm.
Second choice which I made as a child was when in matriculation, my this mathematics, chemistry, physics, bio score was all good.
Mm-hmm.
So I was either recommended for medical or non-medical.
Mm-hmm.
At that moment, I thought of not taking science and going for commerce.
Mm-hmm.
So that was again one choice which was different for those times. Engineers and doctors were considered to be the people who are good in academics,
Mm-hmm.
and commerce would be taken if you are not good in maths and science.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas I scored, very nice in both the subjects, but I wanted to be in commerce. So there
Mm-hmm.
also everybody was surprised, but then I got support from family,
Mm-hmm.
my father and mother, and family for allowing me to explore this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is one which shows my aspiration, and to some extent I was clear at that point of time what I can do and what I cannot do. So later on, God gave me many opportunities to work in various areas.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, a friend like you asked what has been your best assignment so far.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I thought about it, as right now also I'm scratching my mind. But if you ask me, best of Rajiv Gupta is yet to come. I personally feel that I have not delivered my best.
Mm-hmm.
God has been given me opportunity to learn, to understand various aspects of business, and
Mm-hmm.
now I have started contributing.
Mm-hmm.
So the best assignment or the best is yet to come. You may call it ambitious, but I say it more from a responsibility point of view, that
Mm-hmm.
whatever I have been given to learn, this is now time for contributing to society.
I think businesses understand this, and that's where it is said that if you want to get the best out of Rajiv Gupta, give him a challenge. So, so if we look at your career so far, every business where you have worked, there has been a challenge which was altogether different. That what kind of challenges you have faced in various companies which ever you had experience before. Can you talk about what's that which gives that kind of a that I need to take that challenge, I need to probably जिसको हिंदी में कीड़ा कहते हैं कि कीड़ा आपके अंदर होता है जो कि हर बार आपको कोई ना कोई चैलेंज लेने को मजबूर करता है बिकॉज दैट्स व्हाट ड्राइव्स यू सो कैन यू फोकस अ लिटिल
That's
मोर
right. Before discussing this, I would like to first be thankful to my family for allowing me to explore this kind of passion. कहीं ना कहीं तो वो कीड़ा है, which doesn't allow me to, enjoy
एब्सोल्युटली
a settled assignment or mature role. So whenever something settles down, I look forward for another thing which is not settled. So that challenges do attract me. It's not that I approach them. Challenges figure me out where I am, and then they attract me. But my family, especially my wife, has been very supportive in allowing me to explore all those things. And at times, I also take her advice for picking up these kind of things, and she always have guided me best and supported me. And this is something which actually, aspires me. If I feel the things are messed up, things are not good, and if I can be instrumental and things can be, sorted out, and I can be a medium to get the things done, I feel myself lucky. I think it is all with the God's blessing that we have been able to do. If I start thinking that I am doing it, that will be entirely wrong. I only am used as a medium to correct these things through the team that I have, and it's with the God's blessing.
I'll ask you a difficult question now. In 2011-12, you were peak of your career, getting a good handsome salary, working for a brand at an executive role, had a lot of decisions to take and probably aspirations to fulfill. And then you took a different way altogether, which I'm sure must be very difficult, both financials wise as well as the kind of nature you had for that matter. And I'm sure by now you must have added few more cr into your bank account, which you might have left by choosing a career for the next 6 years. What was that, and what kind of decision did you made, and do you regret that kind of a decision what you had made for 6 years
Okay.
at the
So
peak
Pankaj,
of your career?
okay, let me first compliment you. You have done a good research that way. While talking to you and listening to you, I was going through the memories of 2011. That was a time when I had done my marketing inning, my operations inning, and I was heading a business. In fact, that was a time when I was thinking that I was delivering the most, and you, so to say, had reached the peak. That was also the time I realized and I was confident enough that I can take the bigger challenges and support this thing. Yes, financially, it was not, so to say, a decision which will increase my finances. It will also create more risk for me and my family. So that was also a reality, but I was confident that I should be able to contribute. There is no regret. This is something which was well thought of decision, though challenging. And during my period of consulting, I got a lot of learnings, having different environments, having different management styles, and also realized that practitioners or the people who are in charge of business, the kind of acceptability they have for consultants, they are open to outside in approach. So those kind of challenges I experienced. And the key driver that I will have was that, to share with them what is in it for them.
Mm-hmm.
If we prove something as a consultant, of course, I may get some recognition, but most of the recognition was with the leader who is leading that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So few learnings, great experience, and no regrets. That is something which I will like to sum it up. But this decision was difficult because when you are doing good,
Mm-hmm.
that also becomes a barrier.
Mm-hmm.
It is said that good is the biggest enemy of great. So you need to understand that you need to leave good, and only then something great can be achieved. So this was inspired from this thought that, I was doing very good. You are absolutely right. But then this call was for a different purpose.
Your life is driven by ACC, and we coin that term as ambition, challenges, and contribution. What can we expect from you going ahead from now? What keeps you going, and what kind of a road is ahead of you as you see the future?
Thank you very much for creating this ACC. I had never tried to put in, but definitely challenges have been really motivating me, and contribution is must. Without contribution, nobody is considered as a performer, and ambitions are the one which creates you moving.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I personally feel my current assignment is quite challenging. It
Mm-hmm.
is big in terms of size, meat in
Mm-hmm.
it to do.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever I have learned so far, I have an opportunity to practice this and
Mm-hmm.
contribute in the performances this.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have a clear cut, target for me. This is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, there is no end in life. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that, you cannot fix an end. What I am today, if you ask me when I was in school, college, I would have ever thought of this? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally feel that life gets evolved over a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And we must learn to start enjoying the journey itself. So it's the journey. Every day you do, we must by end of the day feel that we have contributed something. And the rest of the things will be taken care with time. So uh, I'm not sure whether I am able to answer your question or not, but that's the thought process I carry.
No, no, you definitely answered the question which I had. Um, the last question, which talks about you as a leader and the kind of leadership style, or maybe I'm not talking about the seven styles of leadership, but I'm talking more from a natural and a genuine point of view. What is that which has shaped you as a leader? Obviously, you have traveled a long path, and for many of us, while I am interviewing you, we see that you are an inspiration somewhere for many of us, because the kind of journey which you have taken, the kind of things which you have achieved so far, and I'm sure many things are yet to come. What has shaped your leadership?
I think it is contribution of my colleagues, my seniors whom I have worked with. Initially, the promoters with whom I have worked with, my team, my colleagues, my immediate seniors. I was fortunate to work with the promoters in the initial years of my career.
Mm-hmm.
That actually helped me in understanding the ownership mindset,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of the rarest capability one gets, because
Mm-hmm.
you work with the professionals. The
Mm-hmm.
difference between the professionals and the owners are not in terms of competency. You
Mm-hmm.
have equally or more competent professionals as well, but the
Mm-hmm.
mindset is different. A professional is defined and confined by the role and the job. This is logical mindset. You work in a structured environment,
Mm-hmm.
and promoters normally are driven by the passion.
Okay.
So they are passionate about what they do,
Mm-hmm.
and the results or the bottom line or the sustainability of the growth of the organization becomes prime importance. So I think my this leadership style actually is driven by that mindset of ownership. So when
Mm-hmm.
I do something, I actually behave like that. I am responsible for overall performance for the business. Second thing which I learned is that you need to take care of your team, and the team will take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot alone, you can contribute nothing. I would
Mm-hmm.
like to underline the word nothing. If individually
Mm-hmm.
you want to contribute, you
Mm-hmm.
can do it for one day for one of the things. It
Mm-hmm.
cannot be for all the things for all the time.
Mm-hmm.
For doing that, you need to put it on the auto mode, which is systemized through your team.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to work more on the competency development and coaching of the team and give them the vision, and they'll do. The third thing is aligning all the functions and drive them in one direction, which is one team for the business.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody in the team is aligned to one vision, they
Mm-hmm.
may be not best of the people. They
Mm-hmm.
may not be best competent people in the industry. But if they are all aligned to one, the results are going to be phenomenal. So I think my leadership style is inspired by these three things. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, customer is king. You need to take care of that. You need to value each and every aspect, value generation, value creation, contribution. All those things are aware. We are aware and everybody is aware of. But I
Mm-hmm.
particularly value more on the ownership mindset, empowering your team, taking care of them, and then you see that the entire team is driven to one direction.
Mm-hmm. So the entire, summation could be that I don't know, or I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care. So that care factor is the central of everything, whatever you do.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think we need to display it. Leaders have to be empathetic. Leaders have to be clear, and a shared vision or unifying the entire company's goal is something which is very, very important.
That's something is going to go a long way with us, Rajiv ji. Thank you so much for being part of this Growth Inspires, a series driven by VYAPT to share some of the inspiring stories by various leaders to inspire the younger generation and people like us. Thank you so much for sharing the entire journey with
Thank you,
us.
Pankaj. I think VYAP is doing a really good job. So I am humbled and honored to be part of this. So I would only like to say that I am thankful to all the people who have supported me. It's not the individual who contributes, it's the entire sport that he get from. So to my bosses, to the promoters I work with, my team, my family, my kids, in fact, my son and daughter, they also teach me a lot. So I think if I would like to thanks, along with you, I have to thank many people who have contributed in this entire journey. Thanks a lot. Wish you all the best.
Thank you
And
so
I'll
much.
be very, very thankful and happy for this interaction.
Thank you so much.